Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
All right, guys, welcome in here. Happy Friday. It is another edition of College Basketball Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. Interesting card here tonight in college hoops. And, of course, we've got 4 games that we're going to talk about, 2 tonight and the 2 headliners tomorrow. They will include a little Toledo we're going to talk about here today, as well as Dayton, I believe, taking on the Billikens. We've got tomorrow West Virginia taking on Texas, as well as Texas Tech, in a rematch of what was a great game last month against Kansas. So we've got some stuff to get to here today, and we're going to break these games down to with 3 of the absolute best. Joining us here today, Tony Mejia back in the house, stepping in for our buddy Ralph Michaels. Drew Martin, it's Friday, baby. Drew Martin here at sportsmemo.com. And, of course, Dave Koken in the house. Take a quick look, guys, at the Twitter handles. Always a good follow. Make sure you're following at Mejia Dinero, at Dave Koken, at Drew Martin Betts. Always some good information and some laughs coming your way there on Twitter. And Tony, good to see you, my man. Been a couple of days. You were crushing it there in certainly in the NBA as well as college hoops. But what do you got heading into the weekend? How else has things been going?
Things have been going much better in college. I think 4-1 last night. The only miss was I had the over in the Wisconsin-Iowa game. Didn't quite get there, but 4-1 otherwise. And NBA has just been atrocious. I was up double digits in back-to-back those TV games, the Philadelphia-Houston game, and then the Heat and Warriors, and was in position to win both. And they blew 20-point leads and lost both. Heat hurt double because I had the under and it went to overtime. So, it's weird. I think the one thing you can chalk up to the pandemic is in-game focus. I think once these teams get up 20 points, it's almost like, all right, what's next? I got to put my mask on after the game. Let's just move on to something else. And the game's still going on. So really rough there. But college basketball, this is the nitty gritty. No excuses anymore. So we got less than a month to Selection Sunday, and these teams will start really living up to their identity. So it should be easier to forecast games going forward over the next month.
Absolutely. All right. And Dave, another winner of last night, best bet. I think that runs you to 20-8 college basketball best bets right now. Congratulations. What do you got going on tonight as we head into the weekend?
Yeah, Gardner-Webb was the best bet, and nice when an underdog wins outright by 28. So that worked out pretty well. I have another dog tonight that I like. They're not going to win by 28. I can guarantee you that. But I think they'll cover the spread, and that's all that matters. So that best bet is up now. I have an FCS play in college football for tomorrow. All access. I've got a hockey game tonight, and we'll see if we can have a good night.
All right, let's do it. Friday, heading into the weekend. Drew Martin, sportsmemo.com, my friend. How you been since we saw you last week, and what do you got going on at sportsmemo.com?
Hey, Joe. Well, yeah, thanks for having me, man. Happy to be here each and every Friday, and it's rolling well, man. We got a lot going on at sportsmemo.com, and college basketball, like Tony said, taking center stage right now. This is going to be an important month, guys, and then, of course, March Madness. So excited to be a college basketball bettor, putting all of my focus into this. And, I do want to say one thing, Joe, in terms of Saturdays in February and early March, I think are the best days as a sports bettor all calendar year. And we got one tomorrow, over 100 college basketball games, so much for the odds makers to do. So really just focusing my time on beating those lines, man. So happy Friday to everybody out there.
I love it. Drew was hinting around that, there could be a few edges with over 100 games there on the board. So hopefully we'll be able to locate a few for you here tonight. 2 games that we want to touch base on here, and we'll get to in just a minute. We'll take a look quickly at yesterday's top performers across the board here. And Washington State, a lot of money came in on Cal in that game. Nobody told Noah Williams that. Washington State handled them pretty easily. 31 minutes, 32 points, 9 boards, 7 assists, and 3 steals. Also, Oregon State was one of our best bets on the show yesterday. Ethan Tossum, they took care of Utah. Some of the covers from yesterday and last night. Well, look at that, Dave, right there. Gardner-Webb at Radford taking care of business, 31.5. And also Wichita State with the upset, taking down Houston there, Tony, 68-63. Not sure a lot of people saw that happening, but a good win by Wichita State.
Huge win for them. I mean, it's looking increasingly likely that the American is going to get 1-2 teams tops, which is how State's shooting to be that second team and certainly help their cause with yesterday's upset.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, some of the overs and unders from yesterday's card that stuck out. That Belmont-Jacksonville State game, boy, they could have played it 3 times. I don't know. They're getting to 152.5 points in that game. So just did not happen. Oregon, Colorado also under there as Oregon gets the job done. So it was a good night last night. Let's see if we can keep it rolling here tonight as we take a look at Toledo and Buffalo here, guys. First game up. And Tony, I'm going to start with you, my friend, as we look at the line here. It opened up somewhere around the 1.5 mark. I'm seeing a couple of 2s there, and the total also seemed to have gone up there. 163.5, 164s here right now. So talk to me about this game. How you approaching it tonight? Side, total, where are you going to go?
I think it's going to be a tight game. Buffalo is pretty resilient at home, but the Rockets are rolling offensively. So, I'm going to ride points. I saw that it opened at 160.5. My prediction for the game, Bulls 84, Rockets 82. And now the total is shooting up to the 164 mark, I believe. But yeah, these are 2 teams that like to push. Toledo point guard Marion Jackson comes off a triple-double, a career high 11 assists, and he's a senior who's played pretty much every game, so that means something. And Buffalo, they're able to really control the paint. I think they're one of the nation's top rebounding teams, so they'll probably be able to get some buckets in on Toledo on second chances. But in transition, I'm worried about their defense, so that's why I'm not going to play the side at all, just hoping that game extension gets both teams into the 80s, and I'm going to ride the over. Try to get it as low as you can. Again, you probably missed the best number originally because it started at 160.5.
Okay, well, there you go, Dave. Looking at this game, Toledo and Buffalo, certainly the over seems to be where people want to go. But from a side perspective, who do you like more in this game?
I think I'd go on the current form, more on the Buffalo side. Toledo's last game was a good one. They smashed Miami of Ohio, 12-point final margin, but it wasn't that close. They were up 25. And Miami got a bunch of points late in that game to make it respectable. But prior to that, lost to Bowling Green, lost to Ball State. So, a little bit of a slip up there as far as they go. Buffalo seems to have found their stride. They're playing well right now. They've won 4 of their last 5, 3 in a row. The only loss was a 1-point loss at home to Ohio. That was a bit of a surprise. But they're in good form right now. And I think maybe the home court advantage, even though there's not fans, home court advantage is still worth a point or 2. I think I'll side with Buffalo here. I think it's a very close game, and certainly not one that I even gave any consideration to. It's too tough as far as picking a side is concerned. But flipping a coin, I'd go with the Bulls in this one.
Drew, when you look at it, you got to take into consideration not only home but defense here. And Buffalo, certainly on paper, seems to be the better defensive team here. How do you approach this game tonight?
Sure, Joe, and that factors in multiple facets. I mean, one, talking towards the total here, like Tony said, both of these 2 teams, Joe, are looking to really push the pace. Buffalo especially, when you're top 11 in both offensive average possession length and top 11 in terms of adjusted tempo, that means you're looking to go up and down no matter what the other team is looking to do. Toledo's not really looking to slow it down at all. They're also top 20 in the country in terms of offensive efficiency. 3-point offense, very, very good from behind the arc, and they knock down their free throws. But, it also factors into the sidewise as well. And Buffalo guards the 3-point line very well. That's something that is usually repeatable in college basketball in terms of handicapping the side. So I think Buffalo is going to have some success here. It's just that the reason I'm not on Buffalo tonight is because just the profile of bet here. They're having to lay 2 points, and they only shoot 65% from the free throw line, going up against Toledo that shoots 78% from the free throw line. how many times does a competitively priced game come down to a foul fest? In my opinion, it's a lot. So I just don't like that type of profile, laying just 2 points with a team 65% from the free throw line. So it would be Buffalo or pass, but it's pass for me, Joe.
All right. Well, good point there with the free throw shooting. All right. That's one of the games here tonight. It's a big one. We got another one, too, with two teams battling down a stretch here in the A-10. How about the Billikens taking on the Dayton Flyers in a big game? This one opened up right around the 5.5. It's held strong. There is maybe a couple of fives as well. Total 136.5, pretty much staying there. And, you know, Dave, we got a St. Louis team was won 4 in a row. We've got a Dayton team that's lost 3 out of their last 4. How do you approach this game?
Well, St. Louis is taking the money in this game, not surprisingly. Looks like the Billikens have gotten back in form. They had that long layoff. It was over a month and came out of it. First game back was Dayton. And they really looked rusty in that game, and they were down the entire game and lost. And then follow that up with a horrible game against LaSalle. But since that time, the Billikens have gotten things back together. They've won 4 straight. They've been very impressive in winning those 4 games. None of them have been particularly close. So I think it's safe to say St. Louis has found their stride. Dayton, really not a very good offensive team. They try to slow the pace down, I guess out of necessity, because they don't. It's not like they're a bad shooting team, but they in fact, they're a good shooting team, but they do have trouble at times creating their offense. And if they have to settle for bad shots, that's a problem. I think they might have to in this game with the Billikens. Certainly the current form chart points to St. Louis. You've got the revenge factor on the Billikens side as well, and they just are the better team. I can't play it at the number where it is, but that's still the only side I'd look at is St. Louis minus the points.
How much faith here do you have in Dayton being able to slow this this St. Louis train that's coming? Really playing well right now, kind of coming into their own as March is around the corner.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, sitting at 11-3 in the A-10, you know, they got their eyes on March Madness. You know, the big tournament here. They're number 44 in offensive efficiency, number 40 in defensive efficiency. Those are national numbers here. So this team's for real. A team that's beat LSU, NC State, and St. Bonaventure, the Bonnies. They beat all 3 of those teams. So, you know, against quality talent, they have performed well. However, like Dave just touched on, you know, this is a rematch where Dayton, the Flyers, won the last game 76-71 in St. Louis. But you got to kind of look under the hood here, Joe. And St. Louis, 23% from beyond the arc, 58% free throw. I would look for the Billikens to play a lot better offensive efficiency than they did last time out against Dayton. Dayton also shooting, you know, flirting with 50% from behind the arc in that one. So I don't really think those are too repeatable of numbers. Plus the fact the Flyers have lost 2 straight, 3 of their last 4. St. Louis is playing better basketball right now. That's why I think I'm with Dave here, laying it with the Billikens if you made me. But another game I'm probably not betting tonight.
Yeah, it was. They just came off that long layoff there, Tony, when they played the first go around. And Javante Perkins has been a monster for St. Louis since they've come back here. He's a one-man wrecking machine for them. How are you going to approach this game here tonight?
Yeah, Perkins is tremendous. If you haven't gotten a look at him, you know, it's on national TV tonight, so make sure you watch him. Yuri Collins, their point guard, really keeps everybody involved. He actually missed the most recent game against Fordham with an ankle injury, and actually the most recent game was against LaSalle, but missed the Fordham game with an ankle injury and was questionable this morning, but it looks like he's going to play. And yeah, I mean, the first meeting against the Flyers was one of those games where they ended up favored despite the long layoff, and a lot of keen college basketball observers said, well, wow, that's a lot of respect from odds makers considering this team hasn't played in so long. And it came to fruition that they were rusty. And this would be a look-ahead spot if it weren't for the national television angle, for the revenge angle. VCU is up next for St. Louis, but I think the Flyers will have St. Louis's full attention. It's also senior night at Dayton, and they have 5 guys that they're honoring there. Obviously, last year was Dayton's Renaissance with Obi Toppin there, but guys like Jalen Crutcher, Ivy Watson have been in the program for years. They'll be on it tonight only because of the uncertainty in March. They moved up senior night, even though Dayton's got another game at home scheduled, and the A-10 just announced that the conference tournament final, the tournament will be played in Richmond up until the championship game, which they've moved to UD Arena. So I don't think the Flyers get there, but there will be more opportunities for Dayton seniors to take the floor, but they'll host pregame ceremonies tonight. Sometimes, guys get too emotional and have a tough time separating the pregame ceremonies from what transpires in the first few minutes. I look for the Billikens to jump all over them. So maybe a first half angle there, and certainly the cover will probably come down to knocking down free throws in the end. It is a little steep at about 6 points.
You got me all over that first half. I love it there. All right, 2 games there tonight, guys. We got 2 tomorrow. We'll touch base on here in just a second, but I do want to let you know, since it is Friday, and you heard Drew mention there are 100 games, over 100 games, college hoops tomorrow alone. There's plenty of opportunity for you to make it a very profitable weekend here as we begin to end the month of February. You can do so with 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages available right now. That means you never miss a play from Dave Koken, from Tony Mejia, and at sportsmemo.com, Drew Martin. Hop on 3 days right through the weekend. Get a week, get a whole month, all access. Never miss a play, any sport, every selection, all yours. Now would be a good time to do that as we get ready for a little March Madness. So make sure you see Tony and Dave at WagerTalk.com, and make sure you're visiting Drew at sportsmemo.com. All right, 2 games tomorrow we want to touch base on. Of course, the first one being Texas taking on West Virginia. I'm not sure what this Texas squad is going to be like here, given what the weather has been. It's been a crazy week here in all of Texas there, Drew. And I'll come to you first. This game, first time around, was very exciting, but I don't know how much faith do you have in Texas being able to practice? Not what. Has their mind been on it? It's a tough spot for the Longhorns here.
Joe, that is a great point. Something coming into this weekend, handicapping the teams in the state of Texas. How much are they going to be affected by all the weather issues, all the off-the-court issues that they're having to deal with here? And it becomes a little bit of a tricky handicap. In some teams, I would look forward to handle it a little bit better than others. It's just a matter of really digging in deep, following these beat writers and doing the research because, like we talked about with so many games this weekend, the odds makers are likely not going to be able to do it, at least not do it as efficient as us sports bettors, where we can really hone in on the teams having to, deal with all the off the court issues. Where I go at from this game, Joe, is one, Texas from a side perspective. They did get off to that hot start, but just 3-4 their last 7 games. I don't think they're playing as good as basketball anyway. Then you add in the weather issues. That's what makes me look towards West Virginia here. Now, before we got on the show, these Saturday numbers, at least I couldn't find them on Circa, who's been opening the sports betting market in college basketball here. But from Ken Palm's numbers, it has Texas 75, West Virginia 73. That would put it at 148 is the total, -2 here, Texas at home. I would look to West Virginia here, Joe. 14-6 on the season, but even more so, look towards West Virginia in the overs, guys. Talk about good bets this season. It has been West Virginia to the over, 6 straight overs, 9-1 their last 10, nailing these overs. And I've been on it for a good run here, Joe. And it's one of the things, the best way to win at sports betting, at least in my opinion, is to find change and go from that point forward in what's changed in the betting market. And it's been here with West Virginia. They've been going at a lot faster tempo. Ken Palm's numbers, which have a big deal to do with how they're opening up the college basketball totals market, he has them pegged at the 194th in terms of adjusted tempo. I can tell you this, just watch a West Virginia basketball game and how they work on offense. There are not 193 teams faster than West Virginia right now. Plus, you add in the fact they're the number 10 offensive efficiency team. You can see why they've been on this run to the over. It's been a great bet so far. They've averaged over 70 possessions in each of their last 6 games, and that's 2 games against Texas Tech, 1 game against Iowa State, 1 game against Oklahoma. All 4 of those games, their opponents aren't looking to go up and down the court. So even if we get a lower total game here, I love it towards the over here, Joe. I'm not stepping off of this money-making train, betting West Virginia to the over. So I got this one, whatever it opens at, I like it to the over 147.5.
I love if it ain't broke, don't fix it, Drill. Love it, man. Tony, how are you going to approach this game tomorrow? Because there is certainly a lot of question marks around Texas.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think West Virginia really wants that first game back. Longhorns won the rebounding battle. They lead the Big 12 in boards. I think West Virginia feels if they can connect on their three-pointers and hang around on the glass here, they can steal this game in Austin, especially given all the issues that Texas has been dealing with. I'm going to use this an angle in the next game as well that we're breaking down. But I'm concerned with how tested Texas is going to be into this game, entering this game because they played Kansas State and TCU in their most recent matchups, coming off that double overtime game against Oklahoma State. And Shaka Smart's team hasn't been as sharp as they were early in January before COVID pause hit, before Shaka got COVID. It seems like they need to get ramped back up. So we'll see if they're ready to play this game. I think you can expect to feed off what Drew was saying, that West Virginia is going to push pace. They've scored 80 or more points in 5 of their last 6, and Texas is 0-3 when allowing 79 or more points. So I think Huggy Bear is going to be like push whenever possible. Again, though, scoring on Texas when locked in is easier said than done.
Yeah, and controlling the boards, Dave, that's what it's all going to be about. It's what helped Texas win the first time around here. How much faith do you have that they'll be able to have a repeat performance?
Well, mine's going to be real, real quick. West Virginia's a little better team. West Virginia has revenge from a 2-point buzzer loss at home. And Texas, look, whatever these issues are with the weather, they're not positives, that's for sure. I'll take West Virginia +3. That's real simple. I don't need to go into any more detail.
Love that. All right, we'll stay there, Dave. I'm coming back to you here for Texas Tech and Kansas, which was an interesting game the first time around. And the early numbers, I'm seeing 2 here, total at 133.5 for this 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It seems like they're going to be rested, at least the Red Raiders, right? They haven't played since February 9th here. It wasn't going great. Kansas seems to have kind of put it together as of recently. Who do you trust in this matchup?
I'm not sold that Kansas has put it together. They beat Kansas State and they beat Iowa State twice. And they beat them big, but that's the bottom of the conference. The game before that was pretty good against Oak State, but I don't know. Kansas is going to have to show me they can beat a good team. And Texas Tech, with this much time, and I understand they've probably had a disruption to their practices as well with the weather. I don't even know how they're getting out of Lubbock, to be honest with you. But Texas Tech is the better team. They shouldn't be the dog, in my opinion. I think Texas Tech is I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch. But if you're telling me just pick the winner, with the line being 2, I'll take Texas Tech. Kansas is going to have to convince me that they're on the road to recovery. I don't know that beating bad teams indicates that.
Talk to me there, Tony. Are you somewhat believing that maybe Texas turned a corner over the last couple of weeks, or is it still wait and see and prove it to me?
No, what Dave said, absolutely. And this is what I was referring to in the previous analysis. I want to see if Kansas is up to the challenge because they really haven't been tested. Iowa State and K-State, and the K-State game was closer than it should have been, and they only won because the Wildcats are so atrocious offensively. But yeah, you got Texas Tech coming off a loss to West Virginia, where the Mountaineers shot 50% from 3, 7 of 14, 49% from the field. Chris Beard, you saw him losing his mind on the sidelines, which has happened a lot this season because they aren't locked in as defensively as previous Texas Tech teams. So with the layoff, with Kansas not being as good as they have been, because you really look at their talent level, there's some kids that are pretty good, pretty athletic, but this isn't a great Kansas team, and they certainly have a hole at point guard, so that can be exploited. But yeah, look, Kansas has their next 2 games are going to be huge tests at Texas and then followed up by Baylor if they can get those games in. So Bill Self better have them ready to play. But I agree that at this point, I'm going to certainly wait and see if you're laying points with Kansas. But if you want to jump in and be aggressive, Texas Tech could be the play.
How you looking at this, Drew? You mentioned an over there with the Texans. How about Texas Tech and Kansas? It wasn't a whole lot of scoring in the first game here, first time around there in Lubbock. What do you think about this game in Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas?
Yeah, Joe. I mean, if you want to look for arguments towards the Kansas side, I guess you could look towards they are 10-1 at home, and the fact that Texas Tech, betting on Texas Tech in terms of ATS stats, they have been a money burner, just sitting at 7-13 against the closing line. So, Texas Tech is, as a program, it has really risen here in recent years. And we've seen it, them making it all the way to the national championship. Chris Beard, a great head coach in college basketball. And like Tony talked about, if you didn't see it, it was actually their last game on February 9th against West Virginia. He was on the ground. He was hooting and hollering. He got kicked out of the game, I believe. And he actually, one of the cool things about it was right before he was leaving the court, not sure if you guys saw it, he gave a fist bump to the West Virginia Huggins, the head coach. I thought that was pretty funny and a good sportsmanship act. But in terms of betting this game, Texas Tech, number 31 in offensive efficiency, top 20 in defensive efficiency. That's usually a good combination. Defensive turnover percentage, number 5 in the country. They're turning their opponents over, and that's a great matchup against Kansas. Like Tony talked about, not really the best point guard play. So when you're turning your opponents over and they struggle at the point guard position, love that matchup. So it would be the Red Raiders or pass for me, Joe.
All right, Red Raiders. It's going to be a loaded card here, not only tonight, but the games tomorrow, too, in college basketball. And before we get to our best bets, both from the guys here and, of course, our friends at the Gold Sheet, I do want to remind you, get those all-access passes right now. Do it at WagerTalk.com. Head over to Dave's page. He's locked and loaded. Tony Mejia ready to go. And, of course, Drew at SportsMemo.com. You guys can get yourself all-access packages. Never miss a selection. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day. Always yours. Never have to worry about it. Now would be a good time of year to go ahead and grab those all-access packages. All right, let's take a look at what we got here tonight with our friends from the Gold Sheet. They are going Wright State taking on Northern Kentucky here. Tony Mejia, this handwriting look familiar to you on Wright State. Do you agree this is the side to go to?
I haven't done my research on that game yet, so no, it's not me. Northern Kentucky has come down a few notches this season. John Brandon moved on to Cincinnati. So Wright State has really been the team to beat in that horizon outside of Cleveland State. Luden Love has gotten in real good shape this season. He's their center. I think he was a lot bigger as a freshman and sophomore than he was last year, and certainly this year he's more streamlined. So that's an angle to watch in that one.
8.5 coming down a little bit in that line, but we certainly encourage you guys head over to thegoldsheet.com, check out the data on that page. Amazing stuff. And Dave, I'm coming to you first, my man. What game did you circle for us here tonight?
Horizon matchup that nobody cares about, Oakland and Milwaukee. This has not been a good year for Oakland. They play zone, and they don't play it well. Kind of surprised Campy has just been really stubborn and staying with the zone because his team they just don't play good defense at all. But Milwaukee's a team that looks like they'll have trouble cracking the zone. They don't shoot it well at all from outside. So I think it's a favorable matchup for Oakland. Neither team's in good form. But to me, you've got the wrong team favored based on the matchup. So Oakland plus a couple is the best bet for me.
All right. Love that. +2 right now I'm seeing in many places. And Drew, how about it, my man? Where are you heading to tonight? What are you showing us?
Joe Raineri, in honor of you, I'm bringing in Dixie State.
Yes!
We've won with them. We've won with them in the best bets here on the show before, going back to the well here. And, of course, the Texans versus the Trailblazers. That's the game I'm going after here, guys. It's in the WAC conference. It's on the WAC Digital Network, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern start here. 143 being the total. Dixie State -1.5. Home favorites in St. George, Utah. And, of course, Tarleton State, an issue we've kind of been talking about here on the show from Stevensville, Texas. How are they going to make the trip out? I think that's going to be an issue here. So I think it's going to really favor Dixie State. The only problem with betting Dixie State on the side is they're not very good, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. But one thing they do, they're top 10 in terms of average offensive possession time, and adjusted tempo. So like we talked about before, that means they're looking to go up and down the court no matter what. They've actually only had one game under 70 possessions all season long. In their last 3 games, they're averaging over 80 possessions. So they're even going into, the next year of recent, which is something I like to look for when betting games over. Plus the fact Tarleton State, 33% of their games this season have been against non-Division I teams. So I think that their overall year-to-date kind of numbers and how slow or how fast they go aren't as reliable as a normal team would be. So all that put together, Dixie State not slowing down for anybody. Bet it up and over 143. Tarleton State versus Dixie State tonight, Joe.
Boy, Drew, love it, man. Busting out Dixie State. All right, you'd make Ralph Michaels very proud. Come on, Tony Mejia, where you going, my man? What'd you circle for us tonight?
Last year, if I'd have told Drew Martin he was going to be breaking down Dixie State and Carleton State, I wonder what reaction I would have gotten.
I don't even think they were Division I.
Before I get to this best bet, tomorrow is going to be a fantastic day of college basketball. I will have a 5% play. I'm 8-2 on those on the college basketball season, and it's a contender shut up time. Put up a shut up time, and throughout college basketball, you've got UConn with book night back against Villanova. Minnesota's hosting Illinois, hoping to add to their at-large resume by pulling off something at home that they're unable to do on the road. FSU's playing at Pittsburgh. Louisville comes off their long layoff to play North Carolina. Both of those teams need a win. Duke takes its shot against Virginia. So a huge day of college basketball. Drew mentioned it, over 100 games. So I will be chiming in on about 80 of them. So you're going to want to join me tomorrow. For tonight, my best bet here, it's going to be Winthrop over High Point, laying 9. I expect a double-digit win. Last night's game was really close, probably closer than the Eagles expected it to be. They were down 7-0. They were down at the half, pulled away. High Point, coached by Tubby Smith, in case you don't know. They've gotten better as the season goes along, as most Tubby Smith teams do. But I think they're punching above their weight class here. No answer for DJ Burns inside. They had a kid named John Michael Wright go for 27 and 10 last night to keep it close. I don't think he'll be as successful tonight. And again, the Eagles out-rebounded High Point 42-26 yesterday. I think that correlation will continue today. And so give me Winthrop. Even though they haven't been as strong on the second legs of these back-to-backs as they have been on the first, they actually lost their lone Big South game on the second of a back-to-back. I think that'll be a lesson, and they'll roll today at High Point, laying 9.
All right, there you go. Winthrop it is, guys. And in honor of Dave Kogan, I, too, am going to go to the Horizon League. Give me Detroit. I'm going to take the Titans here to blow out Robert Morris, whose leading scorer decided to enter the transfer portal last Friday. So they sit at the bottom of the conference. I'm going to take them first half and full game, -5, -9.5. I think it's going to be an absolute double-digit nightmare for Robert Morris. So once again, guys, best bet recap for you. Tony Mejia, take Winthrop, lay the 9. Dave Kogan, going Oakland, take those 2 points. Drew, Tarleton State, Dixie State, get him over 143. No defense in that one. I'm going to take Detroit first half, lay the 5. And the Gold Sheet likes Wright State at 8.5 tonight against Northern Kentucky. And don't forget, guys, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day. All-access packages. You can make it, like you heard Tony say, a hell of a lot going on this weekend. College basketball, NBA, golf, a lot of stuff going on, NHL. Make it a profitable weekend. Grab yourself a 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access package right now. WagerTalk.com for Tony and Dave. SportsMemo.com for Drew Martin. And on behalf of Tony Mejia, Dave Kogan, and Drew Martin, guys, thank you so very much for hanging with us. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. Hit the subscribe button. Come back and join us on Monday. We get to do it all over again. So best of luck with your plays, guys. We'll talk to you on Monday.